along with her family, was captured by the Devourer's attack and her parents died. She was then adopted into the loyal family and grew up to idolize Garmadon and hate Ninja.
Damn. It's like Game of Thrones for kids. You got families getting adopted. Yo, kids getting abandoned, changing their ways. Yo, this is crazy work. We might have to like Venn diagram this or write this whole thing down. What's up? We are back with some more of the cartoon timeline series. Make sure you comment some more in the comments, except for Ben 10. I'm currently watching it right now, though, just so I can accurately hate. I'm on the Gladiator episode. Everyone says that episode is peak. I've yet to finish it yet, but I'm on that episode right now, so I'm actually watching the show. So when we make that Ben 10 timeline, whenever that is, be ready. Ninjago, start to finish. Let's get into it. I've not seen this show in forever, but let's go.
Ninjago, the best Lego cartoon of all time. In this video, I will try to recap all 15 seasons and 210 episodes of Ninjago. In the video, I will tell you
There is 210 episodes of Ninjago?
all 15 seasons and
15 seasons too? Wow. Wow. I'm going to be honest. This is going to be another cartoon that I'm going to get introduced to with a video like this. I've seen Ninjago when I was younger, but not enough. I'm telling you, a lot of these shows that y'all gassed up, I can't lie, I missed OD. I missed a lot, bro. I was missing a lot of them shows. Like this, I barely caught Ninjago. I might have seen like 3 episodes max.
I will tell you the stories of the ninjas, the greatest enemies they faced, and the legendary finale of the series. If you watch this video from start to finish, you will understand the whole story of Ninjago. Now, let's get to the video without further ado. Most of you know the story of the first Spinjitzu master who created Ninjago. But our story goes back much further than that. The story begins in the first realm, home to the Oni and the dragons. The Oni had the power to destroy, while the dragons had the power to create. The two species were locked inside an eternal wall until a child was born to both Oni
God of Destruction.
and dragon. Even bigger fights broke out as the two species fought over who would get the child. The boy did his best to stop the fighting, but in vain. Realizing that this fight would never end, the boy decided to leave the land. The boy fled to another land that was covered by the ocean and consisted of several islands. But in this land too, the fighting continued. A giant sea serpent named Wojira controlled wind and water powers that the boy did not have. If the boy had not cooperated with the islanders and the people of Merlopia to defeat Wojira, the realm would have been destroyed. So the boy gathered the inhabitants of the two realms together and attacked Wojira. But they could not stop Wojira until a water elemental master named Naiad merged with the sea and removed the two jewels from Wojira's head. In this way, they sent the monster into eternal sleep. After Wojira fell asleep, they gained 2 talismans. They gave one to the islanders and the other to Merlopia. The boy became known to the people of the land as the first Spinjitzu master because of the Spinjitzu martial art he created. The first Spinjitzu master climbed the Golden Hills to create the Temple of Light and 4 golden weapons infused with his own powers of fire, earth, ice, and lightning.
See, I didn't even know. I let him talk. I didn't even know they had that much like quote unquote mythology to start the series. That's very interesting. That is really, I really thought it was just like niggas just spawned and started doing whatever they needed to do. Like I didn't know it ran that deep. You had a dragon god at the beginning and like the Oni. I didn't even know it was moving like that, bro. Hey, that's fire.
To create a landmass and named it Ninjago, where he would live for the rest of his life. Sometime later, several Oni built temples in Ninjago to watch over the master of Spinjitzu. In time, an ancient evil gained power to oppose the first Spinjitzu master. This evil was known as the Overlord and created an indestructible stone army.
I know him.
A battle broke out between the first Spinjitzu master and the Overlord. Fearing the loss of his new home, the first Spinjitzu master split Ninjago in 2. One remained Ninjago, while the other became the Dark Island, where the Overlord and his forces were exiled. Subsequently, the Crystal Realm was created by the first Spinjitzu master for easy travel between the 16 newly formed realms. People and snakes began to appear around Ninjago. These snakes were called serpentines. The first Spinjitzu master had 2 children, we don't know how. They were Wu, who had the elemental power of creation, and Garmadon, who had the elemental power of destruction. The first Spinjitzu master created the Green Ninja Prophecy, which stated that the Green Ninja would end the war with the Overlord. The Dark...
Now, everybody say Green Ninja the coldest one. What's his name? The one that we follow in the show. What's the name of the Green Ninja? everybody, when I was growing up, yo, he was glazed like he was Michael Jordan in the flesh. Lloyd, yes. Bro, he was glazed so much. Like, niggas' jaws could not handle the glaze that they was giving out for this guy, bro. He was glazed abnormally, astronomically back then. Again, I've barely seen Ninjago, but even I remember this. He was glazed OD. Him, and I'm not wrong, there's a white one too, right? Or are they, does he wear both? I think there's a white one as well that's also gassed. Zane, yeah. There's someone that's white as well that's also very, very glazed as well. Kai's low-key a fraud. Which one's Kai? Kai Ninjago. Okay, Kai's red. Kai's red right here. I would have assumed he would have been the leader. Not gonna lie. They always make the red one the leader, bro. Shout out Power Rangers.
Dark Lord was planning his next move on the Dark Island and eventually decided to use one of the first Spinjitzu Master's children as a means to return to Ninjago Island. He then made a deal with a snake, which bit Garmadon's hand and injected him with pure evil. This snake would later become known as the Great Devourer, but it would take years for this evil to overtake Garmadon. The first Spinjitzu Master trained his sons in elemental powers and Spinjitzu, and then created the Forbidden Spinjitzu, which must not be used by anyone. Wu met a serpentine girl named Fira.
Lloyd watches Sage Naruto with ease. Nigga, you are lying, bro. Niggas just be lying, bro. We have to see any feats that come up in this timeline, but I know you're lying. I just know you just trying to rage bait, bro. You lying. Shout out Buckethead Splash here, the Great Devourer. Yo, niggas known as the Great D-Eater, bro. I'm sick. I'm sick.
The two became very close. Wu taught her Spinjitzu, but Fira used it to overthrow her king and become ruler of her people. Realizing his mistake, Wu managed to stop Fira using the Forbidden Spinjitzu scrolls and Garmadon's help and locked her up. However, Fira vowed revenge. A few years later, the first Spinjitzu Master passed away in a tomb that housed the Crystal Realm. The location of this tomb was kept secret, and the only clue to its location was hidden in Wu's wand. Garmadon was appointed Guardian of Ninjago, and the golden weapons were shaken with grief. Garmadon went his own way, leaving Wu alone in the monastery. Elsewhere in Ninjago, a pirate named Captain Soto and his crew were to embark on a voyage to find the Dark Island. However, another pirate crew and its leader would come into conflict with a genie from another realm named Natakan. After several battles, Captain Soto sealed the weapon in a teapot and exiled his crew to different realms. After their ship sank at sea, Captain Soto and his crew continued to search for the island until they were killed. Sensei Yang created a new martial art called Air Jitsu. Yang tried to achieve immortality using the Sword of Yang, but he cursed himself and his students by turning them into ghosts. High in the mountains, elsewhere...
Bro, why you do that?
A new martial art called Air Jitsu. Yang tried to achieve immortality using the Sword of Yang, but he cursed himself and his students by turning them into ghosts. High in the mountains, elsewhere, a new kingdom called Shintaro was found. A talented engineer named Dr. Julian built a mechanical child whom he raised as his own son. This child was named Zane. While Wu stayed at the monastery to train his own students, Garmadon found himself training with Master Chen and another student named Klaus. One of these students was Moro, a descendant of the Wind Elemental Master. Wu trained Moro to become a Green Ninja and fulfill the Green Ninja prophecy, but Moro was seen as worthless by the golden weapons, and this angered him. He made bad choices to prove Wu wrong and left the monastery after falling out with Wu. Misako and Wu became close, and Wu began to have feelings for Misako. Misako wrote him a love letter.
Do they have Buku Jutsu and Ninjago? Yo, probably not, bro. Probably not. Do you think these Legos got hands for real? Probably not.
Choices to prove Wu wrong and left the monastery after falling out with Wu. Misako and Wu became close, and Wu began to have feelings for Misako. Misako wrote him a love letter, but Lord Chen intercepted it and tricked Garmadon into signing it himself. Chen also had feelings for Misako. The Serpentines created their own prophecy. A figure known as the Golden Lord would rise and destroy everyone in the world. After Garmadon saw through Chen's ruse, he abandoned him. A war broke out between snakes and humans. Wu and Garmadon led the Elemental Alliance. Alliance. This group was made up of masters of different elements. One member of the Alliance came from a powerful snake species called Anacondrae. Chen manipulated the Elemental Alliance, causing some members to turn against their comrades. Sacred flutes were discovered to control...
Yo, why you look like Tony Stark? Hold on.
Causing some members to turn against their comrades.
Bro look like Tony Stark. Tell me not.
Sacred flutes were discovered to control the Serpentines, and these flutes were used to imprison Serpentine tribes in separate tombs. Toward the end of the war, the Elemental Alliance won, and the Anacondrae leaders were exiled to the Cursed Realm. Master Chen and Klaus were also exiled to an island. After the war ended, Chen's manipulation led the twin Elemental Masters of Time, Crux, and Acronix to lead a rebellion.
Now, do you see all this that's happening? Like, I know we're showing footage from the show, but do you legitimately see all that's taking place? That's crazy if so. I didn't know there was that much pre-lore. Lore is crazy. I'm saying I did not know there was that much lore before you even get to, like, get into it for real.
The Elemental Alliance won, and the Anacondrae leaders were exiled to the Cursed Realm. Master Chen and Klaus were also exiled to an island. After the war ended, Chen's manipulation led the twin Elemental Masters of Time, Crux, and Acronix to lead a rebellion against the Elemental Alliance. Ray and Maya, Elemental Masters of Fire and Water, forged the four Swords of Time with Garmadon and trapped the twins' powers inside the blades. They used the blades to send them through a time rift where they could never be found. The twins entered the rift to avoid being lost in time. However, Crux returned to the same time period and started hiding one of the time blades. At the same time, Wu hid it in a place called the Boiling Sea. Garmadon's letter reached Misako and the two started dating. Eventually, they got married and had a child.
Wait.
Hiding one of the time blades. At the same time, Wu hid it in a place called the Boiling Sea. Garmadon's letter reached Misako and the two started dating. Eventually, they got married and had a child. However, Wu did not know that his brother Garmadon had betrayed him. Elemental Masters began hiding one of the time blades. At the same time, Crux would never be powers inside of fire and water.
Hold on. There's something I was gonna say. There's something I was gonna say here.
Never be found. Time period and started hiding one of the time blades. At the same time, Wu hid it in a place called the Boiling Sea. Garmadon's letter reached Misako and the two started dating. Eventually,
bro. What is old man gonna do with all that, bro?
Called the Boiling Sea. Garmadon's letter reached Misako.
What is old man gonna do with all? There's no way. Yo, hear me out on Shorty too. Like, yo, like, tell me not though, child. Hold on, yo, she's so. Let me stop. Nah, there's no way, bro. This nigga 90 years old got that, man. Yo, you bugging. Nah.
Eventually, they got married and had a child. However, Wu did not know that his brother Garmadon had betrayed him.
Wow. Had a child at their grown age?
Same time period and started hiding one of the time blades. And the two started Garmadon had betrayed him. Elemental Masters began to settle around Ninjago and had children of their own. They also passed on their powers to their children. In the process, Moro died in his quest as his soul crossed into the Cursed Realm. The new master of the Earth element fought a dragon called the Griefbringer in Shintaro using two swords, which he then gave to the two species living there, the Geckles and the Monads. He then returned to Ninjago. The king of Shintaro, King Vangelis, soon sent three adventurers to the caves beneath Shintaro to retrieve an ancient skull filled with demonic powers. The adventurers retrieved the skull, but were forced by the king back into the caves, where they disappeared. So, the king used the power of the skull to enslave the Geckles for months. The Great Devourer's poison completely corrupted Garmadon, turning him completely evil. Garmadon tried to steal the golden weapons to reshape Ninjago, but Wu intervened. The two brothers fought using the golden weapons. Garmadon got the upper hand, but before he could finish Wu off, the defensive spell on Wu's chest activated and hit Garmadon with a bolt of lightning. This caused Garmadon's body to be disfigured, and he fell into Ninjago's underworld. The Skeleton King and his army of skeletons approached to attack Garmadon, but Garmadon vowed to take revenge on his brother by taking control of the skeletons. Wu knew his brother would return, so he hid the four golden weapons in Ninjago and placed a dragon to guard each.
Yo, this run deep though. This is all before, like, y'all said Lloyd, Kai, all them. Nobody pulled up yet. They were 7 minutes in the vid. None of them niggas pulled up. Yeah, I didn't know. Yo, the lore run deep.
Garmadon got hit by
Wow, okay.
Gave it to Ray, a fire element master, to keep it safe. Ray and Maya had children of their own and often chatted with a new friend.
There
This
he
new
is.
friend turned out to be Crux in disguise, and he kidnapped them. But they left their 2 children alone in the blacksmith shop. These children were Kai and Nia.
Yep.
The lightning master abandoned his son in a junkyard where a couple took him and raised him as their own. The earth element master fell ill and later died, leaving her husband and son. The ice master found himself lost in a forest, but by chance he met Dr. Julian and Zane and realized that his time was over. The ice master gave his powers to Zane before he disappeared. Eventually, Dr. Julian grew old and passed away, resetting Zane's memory by turning off his memory switch. Samukai, following Garmadon's orders, revived Dr. Julian and Eventually, Dr. Julian grew old and passed away, resetting Zane's memory by turning off his memory switch. Samukai, following
You just turn off a nigga memory switch? Why would he do that, though?
passed away, reset his powers to Zane before he disappeared. Eventually, Dr. Julian grew old and passed away, resetting Zane's memory by turning off his memory switch.
Why would he do that, though? What was his reasoning? Hey, shout out Call Me Exotic with a $10 dono. Enjoy. Thank you, my brother. I appreciate you, OD. What was the point of that? Why was he resetting his bank so he doesn't remember his dad dying in his face? I'm not gonna lie, that would have motivated a real nigga. If Zane was a real one, that would have motivated him, though. That's crazy. So, like, does he just forget the memory of them having the last conversation, or he completely forgot his grandpa? What's the difference here? Did he just completely forget about him, or it's just this moment he forgot?
Samukai, following Garmadon's orders, revived Dr. Julian and kidnapped him to make him a tool for the skeleton army. Julian refused and was instead locked in a tower in the middle of the ocean. Misako gave birth to her child and realized his potential to fulfill the Green Ninja prophecy. Since Garmadon was the potential Dark Lord, she left the child at a boarding school to seek another way to fulfill the prophecy. A few years later, Wu realized that he was too old to stand up to Garmadon alone and set out on a journey in search of new elemental masters of earth, fire, ice, and lightning. Wu found the Earth Elemental Master on top of a mountain. He quickly recruited Jay, the new Lightning Master, and found Zane again. The three began their training at the bottom of a lake, but they had one more person to find. Kai, the new Elemental Fire Master, worked with his sister Nia in their family's blacksmith shop. At first, he refused to become a ninja, but after his sister Nia was kidnapped by skeletons, he trained with Wu and joined the team.
I remember that.
He found 3 of the gold.
I'm not gonna lie, I remember that. That was a huge plot point, right? That his sister was gone. That was a huge plot point. I actually remember that. Not gonna lie, I remember that.
Golden weapons, but the skeletons took them to the underworld. Garmadon forced Kai to take the last weapon to save his sister. Kai did so, but Wu stepped in to take the sword and went to the underworld himself to keep the ninjas safe. The ninjas went to the underworld and were surrounded by skeletons, but they used the tornado of creation to fight them. Samukai took the sword from Wu and tried to betray Garmadon with 4 weapons. But when he couldn't have them all at once, the weapons exploded. This created a portal to the Kingdom of Madness through which Garmadon passed. Garmadon's son Lloyd was expelled from boarding school and freed the Hypnobrai Serpentine tribe. They too betrayed Lloyd and opened the tombs to the other Serpentines, led by Pythor, the last Anachondri. Zane regained his memories, and Wu traveled to the Kingdom of Madness to find his brother Garmadon, who now had 4 arms to carry all the golden weapons. Garmadon helped the ninjas rescue Lloyd, and they learned that he was the Green Ninja. The snakes collected the 4 Fang Blades and used them to release the Great Devourer. Pythor was defeated by the Great Devourer, and the ninjas had to rely on Garmadon with golden weapons to defeat him. A little girl, along with her family, was captured by the Devourer's attack, and her parents died. She was then adopted into the loyal family and grew up to idolize Garmadon and hate ninjas.
Damn, yo, this movie, this like Game of Thrones for kids. You got families getting adopted. Yo, kids getting abandoned, changing their ways. Yo, this is crazy work. We might have to like Venn diagram this or write this whole thing down. My goodness. Damn. Okay.
ninjas. The girl's name was Harumi. After Garmadon destroyed the snake, he escaped with the weapons. Pythor was freed from the Devourer's stomach, and his scales were turned white by acid. The same acid began to seep underground. Garmadon took control of the snakes and took the golden weapons to the Golden Hills, where he put them all together to form the mega weapon. In the process, Lloyd was affected by an aging powder that aged him by several years. Garmadon travels back in time to prevent the ninjas from facing each other, but 4 ninjas follow him. The pursuit causes a mega weapon to be destroyed and Garmadon to be hurled into space, landing on the comets. Garmadon is revived by the poison of the Great Devourer and is dragged to Dark Island. The Overlord merges with Garmadon and grants him access to the Stone Army. Snake finds some stone warriors under the city of Ninjago, and the Great Devourer's poison awakens them. The warriors lock the snake underground and create chaos in the city. The ninja makes his way to Dark Island, finding Dr. Julian along the way. Garmadon creates a weapon using dark matter and uses it to plunge Ninjago into darkness. The Overlord completes his centuries-old plan and takes possession of Garmadon's body. However, Lloyd becomes the ultimate Spinjitzu master and defeats the Overlord using his golden powers. This causes the darkness inside
Go
Garmadon
right there. Go right there. Hold on. Go right there.
And takes possession of Garmadon's body. However, Lloyd becomes the ultimate Spinjitzu master.
Go right there. Hold on.
This causes the darkness inside Garmadon to disappear. After Ninjago is left in ruins, Cyrus Borg has the city rebuilt in a futuristic style. Borg Tower
Wow, Wayne. This is like the Wayne Tower.
is built on the site where the Overlord was
Damn.
defeated, and a robot assistant named Pixel is also built. Dr. Julian...
Yo, I'm sorry. I gotta say it, bro. I gotta say it. Yo, who making these Legos, bro?
The Overlord was defeated, and a robot...
Hey, yo. This is like the third hear me out that I was gonna say that I ended up not saying. But, yo. Yeah, feel me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even gonna say it. I'm not even gonna say it. I ain't gonna give y'all niggas. I ain't gonna give y'all niggas even the satisfaction. I ain't gonna say it, bro. I'm not even gonna say it, bro. Hear me out, though.
Also built. Dr. Julian passes away
Hear a nigga out, though.
due to old age. Serpentine becomes more civilized by building a society in the Stone Warrior Tomb and remains underground. Garmadon becomes a sensei, training his own students to fight without fighting, to atone for his evil deeds. The Borg Tower and the entire internet are affected with a virus containing the Overlord. The Overlord creates an army of robots to hunt down ninjas and take Lloyd's gold power. With the help of Pythor, he achieves his goals and the Golden Master Prophecy begins. The Overlord gains enough power to assume a physical form, but Lloyd escapes and divides his power among the 4 ninjas. The Nindroids are sent to retrieve the golden weapons. They succeed, and the weapons are forged into golden armor.
Damn, yo, Lloyd was that strong? He was able to split his power between 4 of them? And they still came out on top? Wow. Wow.
Prophecy. Zane sacrifices his life to defeat the Overlord again, but we later learn that he has built himself a new body. The ninjas, separated after Zane's death, reunite to participate in a fighting tournament with the promise that Zane is alive. This tournament has been set up by Master Chen to bring together all the elemental masters to complete a spell that will transform him and his followers into Anacondri warriors. Chen is defeated by Garmadon, who is thrown into the Cursed Realm so that past Anacondri generals can appear and lead the imposters to the Cursed Realm. However, this opening causes Moro to reincarnate as a ghost and take over Lloyd's body. Cole is turned into a ghost by Sensei Yang, and Nia becomes the next water element master. When Nia unlocks her true potential, the ghosts are defeated, and Moro helps her relationship with Master Wu. Later, after giving him the Realm Crystal, she goes to the bottom of the sea and dies. In the following season, Klaus manages to escape the destruction of the Cursed Realm and finds the teapot that Captain Soto used. He frees Natakan and is himself trapped inside the teapot. Natakan captures the Realm Crystal and uses it to find his crew. He travels to his home realm of Ninjago, which he finds in the midst of annihilation. His father gives him the family sword, and Natakan uses it to He frees Natakan and is himself trapped inside the teapot. Natakan captures the Realm Crystal and uses it to find his crew. He travels to his home realm of Ninjago, which he finds in the midst of annihilation.
In tatters.
His father gives him the family sword and
oh my goodness. Yo. City in
All time
shambles.
uses it to imprison every ninja except Jay inside the sword. In Ninjago, he uses the power of the sword to rebuild Jinjago so he can marry Nia. Nia is able to gain immense power after being hit with the poison. Jay rewinds time to before the discovery of the teapot. Eventually, Jay and Nia become lovers. In the next season, Cole's existence begins to fade as he
Wait,
goes
so
to
Jay was crack. Jay took Kai's sis? Oh, hell no, man. Hell no, man. Hell no.
To seek revenge. Yang revives statues of the ninja's past enemies, and these enemies begin to take the place of the living. Moro warns Master Wu about what is happening to the statues, and they're all defeated by the ninjas. Cole flies through a rift and becomes human again. In the monastery, Wu waits for the time rift to reopen and Chronix to be freed. With Wu rapidly aging, the two fight and Crux and Chronix are reunited. The Time Twins collect 3 time blades to power a time machine they're building called the Iron Doom. Rei and Maya are found by Kai, but Kai and Nia must collect the last time blade to stop Wu from aging. The Time Twins return to the past, escaping through a time rift with Kai, Nia, and Wu following them. However, the ninjas stop the Time Twins and use one of the blades to stop Wu from aging. In their final battle, Wu begins to age and turn into a baby. A year after Wu's disappearance, the ninjas continue to search for him while protecting Ninjago. Misako finds baby Wu, but the two are captured by Princess Harumi and her new motorcycle gang called the Sons of Garmadon. Harumi sends a robot named Mr. E to steal the Oni Mask of Vengeance. The Sons of Garmadon attack the royal palace and steal the Oni Mask of Deception, killing the royal family. Harumi hides her involvement from the ninjas. Lloyd finds the baby Master Wu, and Harumi finds the only mask of hatred in one of the only temples. Harumi reveals her hatred for the ninjas and escapes. She uses the mask to perform a ritual at the Temple of Resurrection to bring back the evil side of Garmadon. The ninjas stop him.
Yo, Harumi, bro.
Lloyd finds the baby Master Wu, and Harumi finds the only mask of hatred in one of the only temples. Harumi reveals her hatred for the ninjas and escapes. She uses the mask to perform a ritual at the Temple of Resurrection to bring back the evil side of
wait. When I said Harumi, damn, no, that's not what I meant. I meant her saying she hates ninjas. No. No, I meant this. I meant she slammed out Lloyd. That's what I meant. No. When I said damn Harumi, that's not what I meant. I meant that for her saying that what's it called? She don't like ninjas. No. Yo, chill. Yo, don't get me caught up like that, bro.
Harumi reveals her hatred for the ninjas and escapes. She uses the mask to perform
don't do me like that.
To bring back the evil side of Garmadon. The ninjas stop him, but Garmadon is reborn. Lloyd and Garmadon fight. Lloyd loses the battle and his powers. The ninjas manage to save him with the help of one of Wu's old friends.
Yo, the way this show's looking like to me, I'm not gonna lie, from what I'm retaining, it seems like they really hold Lloyd. It seems like Lloyd just gets... Not only is he like the avatar for real, and like he's like the main one here that's kind of doing everything. Like, where's the part where he becomes Golden Ranger? Or the Gold Ninja, I mean. It seemed like everything's on his back. For real. If it's not him doing anything, these niggas can't carry no load. The only time I heard like these two got brought up, like the other ninjas got brought up again, was when we found out Jay was with Naya, or Nia, her name is. If it looked like, is that not Lloyd?
Were turned white by acid. The same acid.
No, that's the other one. That's way back in the past. No, that's way back in the past. That's way back in the past.
Was freed from the devourer's stomach, and his scales were turned white
but like,
by acid.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. I'm not gonna hold you, bro. It's like, yo, Lloyd, he put 2018 LeBron numbers this whole show, no? That's what it looking like. From when they got introduced at 9 minutes to where I'm watching at 15, they didn't do not one useful thing. There's not one useful thing any of them did that is not named Lloyd.
Ninjas had to his name was Harumi after a year to Dark Island. The Overlord.
Crazy.
Overlord merges with Garmadon and poisons Garmadon to be hurled into ninjas following. The pursuit causes a mega weapon to be destroyed and Garmadon to be hurled into space, landing on a comet. Garmadon is revived by the poison of the Great Devourer and is dragged to Dark Island. The Overlord merges with Garmadon and...
Oh no, I brought it back way too... We already seen this.
Misako finds baby Wu
to
steal the Oni mask of deception, killing the royal family. Harumi hides her involvement from the ninjas. Lloyd finds the baby Master Wu, and Harumi finds the only mask of hatred and one of the only temples.
Remember this part?
Harumi reveals her hatred for the ninjas and escapes. She uses the mask to perform a ritual at the Temple of Resurrection to bring back the evil side of Garmadon. The ninjas stop him, but Garmadon is reborn. Lloyd and Garmadon fight, Lloyd loses the battle and his powers. The ninjas manage to save him with the help of one of Wu's old friends. The ninjas try to stop Garmadon's gigantic giant, but they're almost crushed inside the ship. They use the Traveler's Tea to escape to another realm. Lloyd and Nia are left in Ninjago to fight Garmadon's forces, while Kai, Cole, Zane, Jay, and Wu are sent to the First Realm. The four ninja and Wu are hunted by the Dragon Slayers, led by the Iron Baron. They escape and go to find the dragon armor. They're chased to Oni territory and receive help from a former Dragon Slayer named Faith. It turns out that the only dragon left the realm long ago. The growing Wu is taken by the Iron Baron to retrieve the dragon armor. The first child of the Mother Dragon kills the Iron Baron and helps Wu and the ninjas return to Ninjago. While all this is happening, Garmadon grows stronger and sends the Sons of Garmadon to hunt Lloyd. Lloyd creates a resistance consisting of Nia, Pixel, Skylar, Dareth, Mistake, and other elemental masters. They sneak into Borg Tower and broadcast a message to the people of Ninjago to rise up and fight against Garmadon. However, they're followed to their hideout. Everyone is captured except Lloyd, Nia, Skylar, Dareth, and Mistake. Mistake reveals that he is an Oni sent to track down the first Spinjitzu master. Mistake is killed by Garmadon, but Skylar absorbs his powers and tries to use them against him. A contest for the giant results in Harumi being crushed to death under a building. Wu and the other ninjas return to Ninjago. Giant results, but Skylar absorbs his powers and tries to use them against him. A contest for the giant results in Harumi being crushed to death. Powers and tries to use them against him. A contest for the giant results in Harumi being...
This is... Why does Harumi look like this here, though? Number one. Why does Harumi look like this? Or is that not Harumi? Number one. Number two, Harumi getting slimed out like that is sick work. Harumi getting slimed out like that is absurd. Let's go back.
Reveals that he's an Oni sent to track down the first Spinjitzu master. Mistake is killed by Garmadon, but Skylar absorbs his powers and tries to use them against him. A contest for...
Wow, Skylar. Wow, Skylar. Yo, hold, bro. Hold. Someone said, of course you want to know. Nigga, she don't look like that. Why does Harumi look... Why, I can't even ask questions now? Why does she look like that? She doesn't look like that the whole vid.
Ninjago and reunite with everyone. Kai, Zane, and Jay are called to take care of the giant. Wu and Lloyd confront Garmadon and defeat him. Lloyd regains his powers while Garmadon loses them before being locked away. Garmadon tells Lloyd that something is coming. Lloyd later realizes that Garmadon was referring to the Oni in the land of moles. The Overlord makes a deal with Harumi and revives him. Harumi begins to receive the Stone of Vengeance.
Oh wow, yeah, so y'all right. Everybody gets revived, huh? This is like on some One Piece stuff. Not even... Everybody's getting revived, huh? And niggas just come back to life.
A substance that can block elemental powers. The ninjas release Garmadon to help them stop the Oni. Garmadon regains his powers and, together with Lloyd, destroys the Crystal Realm. But these efforts were in vain as all the Oni had already arrived. As they flee, they use the golden armor worn by the Overlord to keep the Oni at bay. Kai transforms the golden armor back into golden weapons, and they all use the Tornado of Creation to defeat the Oni and Garmadon. In the next season, Ninja discovers an ancient snake tomb with an adventurer named Clutch. The powers accidentally return to Earth, and the snake resurrects his army to seek the forbidden scrolls of Spinjitzu to take revenge on Wu by stealing Kai's powers. He manages to get one of the scrolls, but the ninja fights him using the second scroll. The snake tries to kill Wu before it's completely frozen, but Zane intervenes and is sent to the Netherrealm. Zane loses his memories and is manipulated by an outcast named Vex. Zane captures the Emperor of the Kingdom.
Wow.
It's completely frozen, but Zane intervenes and is sent to the Netherrealm. Zane loses his...
Wow.
It's completely frozen, but Zane intervenes and is sent to the Netherrealm.
How did you still get that shot off when you're frozen? Yo, that's some shot clock cheese, bro.
Kill Wu before it's completely frozen, but Zane intervenes and is sent to the Netherlands.
Wow.
Zane loses his memories and is manipulated by an outcast named Vex. Zane captures the Emperor of the Kingdom and turns all his men into Blizzard Samurai. Vex confronts the Formlings and offers them the chance to join the Ice Emperor, but they refuse. The Ice Emperor then returns and freezes everyone except a young girl named Akita. Wu tries to go to the Land of Nothingness himself to save Zane, but the ninjas go in his place. They're given food and shelter by the village and learn of the Ice Emperor's tyranny. Lloyd decides to find Zane alone while the others stay to protect the village. Lloyd meets Akita, who wants revenge on the Ice Emperor. The entire village is frozen by the Ice Empress's dragon, but the ninjas are unaffected. Lloyd battles the Ice Emperor while Kai destroys the Ice Dragon after regaining his powers. Zane gets his memories back. Vex is then banished and the ninjas return to Ninjago. In the next season, a villain named Tinkerer tries to steal a motherboard and the ninjas retrieve it. In the Tinkerer's lair, they find an arcade machine in which Jay puts the motherboard. They physically enter the game known as Prime Empire, and each arcade machine transforms into Prime Empire, causing other people to enter as well. Kai, Cole, Nia, and Lloyd enter the game to save Jay and the other players. Meanwhile, Zane, Pixel, and Wu find the game's creator, Milton Dyer. The ninjas find Jay and are forced to face the game itself, Unagami, collecting 3 katana throughout the game. Everyone turns into cubes except Jay.
This was a 10 out of 10 season? What season is called? Season just 11 through 14. This is a 10 out of 10 season, y'all saying? We're gonna have to see.
And Jay is forced to face Unagami. The cubes are used to power a portal to the real world, and Unagami passes into the world. The other ninjas then manage to get out of the game, including the players trapped inside the game. In the next season, the ninjas are invited to Shintaro for Princess Vanya's birthday. Cole and Vanya discover dungeons.
Hey, shout out my dog, Runner High 1 with the tier 1 sub. Shout out my nigga Vegito. Shout out my dog, bro.
Ninjas go down to investigate. They rescue some of the geckos and months and leave, but they manage to unite both species to face King Vangelis, known as the Skull Wizard. The ninjas' attack is not successful, and they're locked up. King Vangelis reveals his identity to Cole, Wu, and Vanya sends them to the deepest part of Shintaro. With the help of the adventurers Vangelis sent before releasing everyone, Cole confronts the Skull Mage, defeats him with a Spinjitzu blast, and Vangelis is imprisoned. Vanya is promoted to Queen of Shintaro as Vangelis' mining stops. In the process, Harumi is forced to smuggle the Stone of Vengeance through criminals. Using the criminals, Ronin tricks the inhabitants of Guardian Island and pretends to be Wojira, taking all their wealth. Misako, Wu, and Clutch powers travel to the undiscovered island and are captured by the Keepers. Later, the ninjas go to the island to rescue Wu, but are captured. On the island, Jay is planned to be sacrificed to the fake Wojira, but the ninjas realize the ruse and rescue Jay, capturing the criminals and Ronin. Meanwhile, in the oceans of Ninjago, Prince Kalmar discovers the Temple of Wojira.
1 second, chat. Uno más second. I'll be right back. 1 second.
And begins experimenting on the sleeping Wojira. These experiments cause Nia to lose control of her powers. The ninja investigate and discover Merlopia. Kalmar kills his father, takes the throne, and blames the attack on the ninjas. Kalmar's adopted brother, Benthamar, helps the ninjas escape, and they all fight Kalmar for the Storm Amulet. Kalmar manages to wake Wojira, and Ninjago is flooded. Kalmar's defeated by Wojira after losing control, and Nia sacrifices herself by becoming one with the sea as Nia. Wojira is defeated, and the ninjas organize a funeral for Nia. The ninja return home, and Benthamar becomes king of Merlopia. As we move into the final season, the newly elected president forms his own ninja team in the absence of the ninjas. The new ninjas capture Pythor, and after investigating another shipment of the Stone of Vengeance, take on the old ninjas. Nia regains her memories and tries to find a way back to her friends. They escape from prison and absorb Nia's powers, successfully reuniting her with the sea. These actions lead to the imprisonment of the ninjas, while Pythor,
Also, Nia's not even dead either.
Angelus, Panic, and the rebuilt Mr. E, recruited by Harumi, form the Crystal King Council. Dareth and Nia break the ninja out of prison to investigate, but Lloyd is captured by Harumi. The council burns the monastery and steals the golden weapons to return the Overlord to his physical form. Lloyd escapes, but the Overlord sends the Stone Army to attack Ninjago. Almost everyone in Ninjago is turned into a crystal zombie, so the ninjas team up with Garmadon to gather as many people as they can, reaching out to anyone who can help. Lloyd and Garmadon confront the Overlord, who reveals reveals the truth behind Garmadon's corruption. Harumi realizes that the Overlord is responsible for the death of her family and joins the fight against him. With the help of the ninjas, Shintaro, the Merlopians, the Islanders, and the Serpents, as well as all the citizens of Ninjago, they fend off the zombies. Lloyd battles the Overlord, and the Overlord tries to control him. However, Lloyd escapes his evil ways and returns to his old self, discovering the pure goodness within him. Eventually,
damn, they decked out. Y'all see that? Hold on.
Discovering the
That might be aura, chat. Yo, whole gang looking like these? Hold on.
pure goodness within him. Eventually, the ninja's power is transferred to a dragon, and through it, they defeat the Overlord and the Crystal Council. However, Kai, Cole, Jay, and Zane lose their powers and their golden weapons.
Wow.
This is the shortest way to tell you the story of the 15 seasons of Ninjago. There's also a series called Dragons Rising that is connected to the story, but...
Alright, so... if I was to judge based on this video... now, I'm not gonna lie, I would have to rewatch this, because he low-key spoke fast. In the middle there, I was low-key losing him. But... based on this, I would watch the show. This feels like a kid's version of like 2011, 2012 TV. Like, I watched, if y'all know the show Power, I watched that recently. Yo, shows that were coming out back then, they used to just have stuff happening for the sake of happening. Every episode, something plot pivotal happened. It's low-key crazy. Especially if you watch, like, anime, and then you go and you watch shows like that. It's like every in anime, there's episodes where, like, yeah, something plot relevant would happen, but it's like, it might be, like, only 2 minutes of the entire episode. Like, I'm watching Gurren Lagann right now. I'm on episode, I think, 8. There's, like, small plot relevant stuff happening per episode, but it doesn't feel like the plot is progressing. OD. Bro, in some of these shows, like, I'm gonna use Power as the example. Yo, there'll be, like, 5 things that advance the plot in one episode. And most of the time in other shows, each of those 5 things would be its own episode. You know? That's what this feels like to me. This is 15 seasons, to be fair. So, like, this is... he explained a lot in this. But this seemed like a show where it's like, you watch every episode, there's something plot relevant happening right now. And I think that's pretty dope. I think if I watched this as a kid, I really would have enjoyed it. I do. One thing I'm seeing is Lloyd clearly is a step above everybody. Clearly is a step above everybody. Because he's the only person that I've seen in this entire video that had, like, a lot of plot relevant stuff. Everybody else was kind of just like, oh, like, your power, like, Kai's power was gonna get stolen. What else was happening? They brought up Jay with the girl. Besides that, like, nobody else plot relevant, though, was doing anything. Whenever the villains was coming back, whenever they needed to scrap, whenever they were trying to take stuff, it was Lloyd doing everything, bro. Lloyd watches Gojo with ease. He'll pipe down on that one. But Lloyd low-key is Gojo. Lloyd low-key moving like Gojo, bro. Moving like the Gojo diverse. Like, you could tell that nigga was like, everybody needed that nigga because he carried, bro. It's at least from this video, it gives the impression that he seemed like he carried. But there is a lot that happened. This is a much more lore-infested story than I thought. I would have to watch this, or I have to watch a more in-depth video, because there's so much that happened in this, I couldn't even be able to relay it back to you in a actual, like, good format. Let me see if I can find another one. I would 100%, yeah, like, look at this. He did in 23 minutes what others are doing in an hour. You know? So I definitely need to go back, because there was so many characters, so many of them do pretty important stuff. It's crazy. I didn't know Ninjago ran like this, but if you're 15 seasons, I guess you kind of have to. That's absurd, bro. That's absurd. But yeah, you could tell that video was really condensed. You could tell that video was really condensed, because I think, not saying there's information missing, there probably is, but there's definitely information that I would need a lot more elaborated on. But I appreciate y'all for the sticking in and watching the video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I'm out of here.